how do you be successful as an empath in your own business? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today on the Manifesting Guide. But just before we do that, if you're done with pushing and forcing yourself to get things done without results, come find your Manifest Without Force or Frustration gift at highertrueself.com. It's completely free. Hey, if you want notifications when I release a new episode, go to highertrueself.com/podcast. Now, let's get on to episode 44, the risk of being an empath if you're self-employed. So what can happen for empaths? That means feeling what other people are feeling, sensing even what other people are thinking, and for the most part, modifying themselves to be what the other person needs. Now, in relationship, that can be wonderfully supportive and a great asset if you're with another empath, because then they're also doing the same for you. I remember way back when I had this motto that I lived by, do no harm. So when I became a mother, that was my motto, do no harm. So I was always aware of not trying to overly influence him away from what was his best option, best choice, his desire. So from very early on, I would always give him options. Whether that was right or wrong, I don't know. But I did not want to force my will on him. As you can imagine, he grew into being a very strong-willed child. And now that he's an adult, I'm so grateful that he's so strong-willed, because people don't get the better of him. He can see through the manipulation and coercion. He stands strong in his truth. He's aligned with his true self, which is fabulous. And that is a gift in this crazy world today. So let's get back to being an empath and how you can be successful in your own work. When I first started in my own business, my second business venture was back in 2005. And this was before the big rush of online marketing trainings. Create your course in 7 days and sell it online while you're sleeping, or write a book in 3 hours and sell it on Amazon, because you only have to have 30 or 40 pages and it's officially a book on Amazon. So there were all these promises, and for people who are sensitive, they may not have the discernment to know whether something's really right for them. Is the timing right? And does the person have the skill and ability to guide them to where they're promising they can? Because we know in marketing and advertising, there are a lot of promises that the product does not fulfill on, or that there are a lot of promises that the person who is using the product, the program or the book, isn't ready for. So either way, it feels like a failure, right? It's disappointment. It's no success. The person didn't get what they wanted when they invested. So the risk of being an empath and you're running your own business is that you can be easily sold, easily influenced, especially if someone is good at connecting with your heart. Oh, you're done then. Because if they can really pull out what you want and they're compassionately listening and they're reflecting back that, wow, you're done. Because if they've got something that's attractive, that what you see will help you be successful in your work, and they're connected to their heart. I was involved with a business back in 2017 that exactly had that. They had the strategy, they had the system, and the person was really good at communicating from his heart. And so it was quite attractive for the sensitive, empathic people. And yet, when a lot of them got into the program, they struggled, they floundered, they were drowning, because many of them didn't even have an idea of what they wanted to do in their business, and also that they were so compelled and driven by that heart centered way of being that when it shifted to business and strategy, because business is business, my friends. I'm in something right now that I will share in another episode that really woke me up. And I think, I'm awake. I know how the world works. I know how business works. I was really surprised. So there's always learning, right? So how would you know? How would you know if you are at risk to being sold or manipulated? Well, if you're someone who can flounder and waver in and out about trusting what's right for you, staying on your path, and having a very potent aim and being able to follow through on that aim. And if you're someone who's attracted to bright, shiny objects that you think, oh, this is going to solve the problem. This is going to get me the clients that I'll love working with. This is going to help me make the money consistently every month so I can quit my job. This is going to build my confidence. This is going to give me the structure to build a sound business that people will buy online while I sleep. So if you are someone who is attracted by bright, shiny object, then the best recommendation I can give, and for the most part, I don't generally give recommendations, but having lived through this, I'm going to share it. If it's useful, keep it. If not, toss it to the curb. Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe from any mailing list that is trying to sell you something that you're not in the market for right now, that is not solving what you want to solve right now. So that's that one, bright, shiny object. The next one is knowing what's right for you. Let's go a little deeper in that. So I remember back, 2011, 2010, I bought this book on business planning. And I said, okay, this is how you start a business. So this book looked good. It was written by a woman and she ran her own business. So I thought I could do it. I couldn't resonate. I mean, I'm on the empath scale, pretty high on that side. More sensitive. Strategic? Nah. So buying a business book or enrolling in a plan that's all strategy is not going to keep me engaged, nor am I going to understand it. So knowing what you're working on right now, what's important to you. This is where if you could find a friend, I'm not talking about going to hire a business coach right now, because we're going to talk about that as a potential risk and disaster in just a moment, is a friend to talk things out with. And the friend who knows you, maybe the friend has a little experience in running their own business, that would be a plus, but they don't have any investment in you doing something. A business coach can have an investment in you doing something because if you apply it and you're successful, you keep paying them the monthly fees. I know I'm being really raw and real here, but it's so important for you to know this. Me having been in this unfortunate game for 17 years, and I've learned a lot. Okay, so if you could talk things out to a friend, and then they notice when you're talking about something that you light up, make note of that, because there could be a bunch of different things. Maybe you're thinking about starting a podcast. Maybe you're thinking of developing your own website. Maybe you're thinking of creating a course. Maybe you're thinking of launching private VIP coaching. Maybe you're thinking of doing events. There could be many, many things there. So as you talk about each one, your friend could notice where you light up, where you lean forward, where you get excited, and put a little star by that one. Because that, my friends, is probably the place where if you are going to invest in something, it's going to be that. And it's very different when you go shopping versus you're sold. So remember back to a time when you needed to buy a dress for a special occasion. Okay, I'm talking to women here, right? So you needed to go to a wedding, for example. You know what time of year it is. You know when the wedding is. So is it going to be an evening wedding? It'll be a bit more dressy. So you know what you're looking for. Did a little research. You know what kind of style looks good on you. A little shorter dress, maybe higher neck, longer sleeves, or, something where it's off the shoulders. You know what looks good on you because you've got those kind of clothing in your closet. So when you are searching, you've got an idea, the color, the fabric, the length of the dress, and what looks good on you. do you think you're going to have a much better chance finding the dress you're looking for versus going into a discount store or a big department store and you just walk around the shop? You're not even specifically looking for something. In this case, you're not looking for a dress. You're just passing the time to shop. And some people, it's a stress-reducing thing, which is why credit cards can go up so high, because it's wonderful to go shopping, but then if they buy something, it goes crazy. Okay, so you're targeted. You've got an intention. You've got an aim. I got to get a dress for the wedding, okay? Versus just going shopping. How many times have you bought something, you got it home, you're like, what was I thinking? And you return it. If you're an empath, you've done this, I know, because you can get influenced by the store, the music in the store, the people in the store, the displays in the store. You're an empath, you absorb all that, and you lose access to your decision making. So online shopping has been, in a way, a godsend for empaths because they're not just being pulled into whatever's in the store. So back to this. Your friend has noticed and helped you see that maybe launching a podcast, okay, for this example, is your energy's there. You love to talk about things. You've got stories, you've got wisdom. You really feel you can help people in your line of work. So start doing your research on podcast trainings. Maybe you listen to their podcast. Maybe you go to their website and you download their free offering. Maybe you take a little mini course. A lot of people are doing that for free right now to experience their work. And you don't make a decision right away. And please, please, please do not accept their free consultation call. No, you're going to be putting yourself in a place to be sold, and that because it's high desire for you, you're going to be even more open to being sold because they can solve your problem. So you've narrowed it down to 2 or 3 people. You've done the due diligence. You know where you resonate. So now here's how I decide whether I'm going to invest in a program. If it works for you, great, keep it. If not, toss it to the curb. First, that they're very knowledgeable and they have the experience and they've got strategy, because I'm really good on the mindset, but strategy is where I know I can benefit. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Strategy alone is a disaster for empaths. You need a combo. Strategy and mindset, strategy and mindset, strategy and heart, okay? Then the second criteria is, do I respect them? Do I like them? Do I value them? Are my values aligned with them? If it's someone who is an aggressive, I'm not going to name a name here, but an aggressive businesswoman for driven entrepreneurs, and there is a lot of truth, a lot of guidance, but you can't stand the energy or the heart, well, then that's not a good teacher for you, is it? Because for an empath, you're going to be absorbing them. You're going to be absorbing their energy. And at some point, you're going to either get turned off and run away, or here is why I recorded this podcast in the first place, is because you're at risk at becoming like them. I'm going to repeat that. It's so important. If you invest in a program or an offering and someone's teaching you something and you're an empath, that if their values are not aligned with your values and they have the content, you can be open to being influenced because you know they're wise and you want what they have. And you can become what they're like. It's happened to me. Oh my gosh. It was so sad when I look back at where I was in 2005, 6, and 7. And then I followed my first online business mentor. And I started to change how I spoke about my work. I changed my website. It had marketing speak on it. It had hype. Previously, I would never use a photograph of somebody else, because here's innocent me. You know, I was like 50 years old before I realized that advertisers were using photographs, stock photographs, and this person did not use the product. They were not a happy customer. Can you see how naive and innocent I was? It's amazing. I'm still here today as a business owner. I amaze myself, really. There were so many times where I was kicked to the curb, like I couldn't get up. So with being influenced by someone is you respect them, you value them, they have a strategy, but they're not guiding you to your heart. They're not guiding you to your unique expression. Very few people do that well. I am trying to even think of anybody right now as a business coach that do that, because what they do is they've come to something that's worked for them and they tell the story. It's a compelling story. You're leaning in. I want that. I want that. And maybe their values are aligned. Maybe they're heart-centered. They've got a strategy. They've got a story. But unless their program, unless their offering is guiding you to your inner truth, then as an empath, you're going to get influenced and you're going to adopt and adapt yourself to using their tools. And sadly, my friends, this is so sad. As an empath, you're likely going to beat yourself up for failing. I'm behind. Why didn't I apply that? That was a good teaching, but I didn't do it. Why? There's something wrong with me. No, there's not something wrong with you. It's that the style of teaching did not connect you with your truth, which is why I love the work that I teach, the true self-alignment process. And oh my gosh, it was life-changing for me. It brought me back to myself and helped me recognize the garbage that I had been putting out there. And I cleaned everything up. And I remember it was end of 2013, interestingly, 9 years ago, right around this time, is I shut my business down. I sent an email to my list. I said, I am no longer teaching. I am on a sabbatical. I'm on a break. And it was almost like going into a place where you go to meditate and you are on a spiritual retreat. I'm forgetting what it is. The name will come to me in a moment. And I stopped. I didn't do any work. And it was scary because all the income stopped coming in. And I meditated. And I did the processes that I teach to help clear the mindset, the blockages, the resistance, anything that's not authentic to me. I got rid of it, take the garbage out. And by the end of January, I started to see a glimmer of what it was I would like to do in my work. And I remember the phrase came to me when I was reading something. And I said, that's it, that's what I want. Know thyself, accept thyself, become the creator. Know thyself, accept thyself, become the creator or co-creator. I like that one better. And that helped me just toss out all the other stuff I was doing. Well, 9 years later, in meditation, I was reminded of that. And so looking at my work now, where have I been influenced by other people, marketers? Am I relying on somebody else to write my copy? I mean, that's a danger for empaths because they don't have your voice, they don't have your heart. Now, if they do help you with writing something, make sure you process it through your own heart and you put your own words, and any phrase that doesn't feel right, get rid of it. Because if you're going to be an authentic, self-employed person, you've got to scrub it of anybody else's influence, because otherwise you're going to be lost in the noise. You're going to be lost in the din. And if we came here for anything, to be embodied on this planet at this time, it's to be ourselves. But where's the guidance? That's why I love teaching what I do, because even if someone is disconnected from their higher self and they're self-employed, there's a path out of it. I've done it, and I know you can. So thanks. This was a really deep podcast for me. I mean, I'm surprised I didn't get to tears. This has been my journey, and I'll reveal more along the way because I think I'm the only one who can tell you. is stop chasing bright, shiny objects. Stop accepting those complimentary calls unless the person is value aligned and unless the person has a strategy that you feel will work. And my friends, unless you've got a way to get you back to center. So let's talk about that. So I do have a little mini meditation I'd love you to get. It's a 5-minute true self grounding to get you back into your center and get the Manifest Without Force or Frustration gift at highertrueself.com. You will get that 5-minute meditation, you'll get a wish list, and you'll get so much more. Remember, when you confirm yourself, you're not looking for other people to tell you who you are and if you're doing a good job. It frees you to be yourself. Bye for now.